This is the journey.
This is the journey with Thomas. This is the journey with Thomas.
All right. After a short hiatus, we are back with the journey with Brandon Thomas.
The journey.
So I'm doing these basically. Right now, I'm working on a strategy to release them so that way they're consistent. So I think I'm gonna start doing them like 5 at a time, little 5 pieces, and then dropping them off like a Netflix series so people can binge and listen to what they want to listen to. Which is why I've done 5 and none have been out. So I got 1, I got 2, I got 3, and then we're gonna get 2 more, and then we're gonna keep it popping from there.
Yeah.
So I've got. I'm really excited. I got one of my best friends here. You guys have already heard from another one of my best friends, Darius Malone, and we talked about fatherhood. This time we got Devin Johnson in the building.
Woo!
Bam, 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 bam. Still no air horn, but you know, life is hard. So we're gonna get into it. So this is the journey, right? So basically, this is me going through highlighting people while they're still alive, highlighting people's greatest moments in their life, and just kind of being able to celebrate them in the podcast form, which in my opinion is like super dope. And I feel like we don't always do until something tragic happens or until you feel. There's some catalyst for it.
Yeah. So
what I wanted to do is I wanted to erase that and just get into like just loving on people while you can, which I think is kind of dope. So some of these questions I feel like I already know the answer to, which is why I think we're about to have a grand old time, because if you're lying, I'll stop you. Anybody interested in that? Okay, so here we go. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Devin Johnson. How did you get here?
Let's see. I woke up
at about noon. Just thought that I had to be in Compton soon. I lied. We're not starting Devin there. I know Devin's life.
Yes.
It's boring. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, what has been the greatest moment of your life?
The greatest moment of my life is like just anything.
See, you're stalling right now.
Just anything?
You're stalling. What has been the greatest moment of your life? What was the first thing you thought of?
The first thing I thought of was senior year high school football game. I did a flip, scored a touchdown. And
it was epic.
Yes,
I was there.
It was amazing.
Okay, so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. What has life been like transitioning from football to life?
Man, it's been great. It's been good. At first it sucked. Because playing football more than half your life, that's all you know.
Right.
About half your life. That's all you know. But the transition has been good. Yeah, man, just loving life. I haven't had any I'm healthy. That's a great thing.
Right.
No serious neck injuries, back injuries. Thank God. You know what I mean.
Right.
So
you made it. You're one of the lucky ones.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you played at a very high level in high school.
Yes.
You played in college.
Yes.
There's plenty of opportunity to really bust your SHIT up.
For sure.
You even played arena. Like you went past college.
Yeah. That was fun too.
So yeah, I just think it's like that is a very common thing that I don't think like a lot of people talk about is transitioning from sports and like your identity. Like I feel like I've known you since high school. You were like Devin, the football player.
Yeah.
And obviously you got personality. You've got all this other stuff going. But like, what was the day after you decided to stop playing football like?
Man, that was...
Hold on, I've asked the wrong question. Was there a day that you decided to stop playing football?
Dang. Was there a day? Yeah. And it was probably my 30th birthday. Because, you hear all these stories about athletes when they hit 30, they're going downhill from there. They're, starting to become washed up.
Right.
Especially in football.
Yeah.
In football, when you hit 28, it's like he's old.
Yeah.
And that's crazy because in the real world, you're still a baby. You're young.
Right.
But in the sports world, you are getting up there in age.
Old product.
So for me, I was like, dang, like I think I'm done. Like it's crazy. But that was a tough pill to swallow, but I did it, and it's been fun.
Ooh. What would you tell somebody that is getting near the end of like their football career? Like how would you help them to transition? What would you tell them? How do you do it? What's the process?
Jeez, I feel like everybody's process would be a little different. The main thing is like you have to come to peace with it at first. If you don't come to peace with it, then it's gonna be even harder. Like even if you have to force yourself to dang, I can't I don't know if I can explain it very well, but you would have to just know, like you would have to figure out that you it's hard for me to put into words.
Right.
You have to come to peace with it.
You got to surrender.
If you don't come to peace, then you would drive yourself nuts with the what ifs, with the whys and the why not me and all that stuff.
Right.
And I feel like that I had to deal with that. And again, it wasn't long, but I was just like, how come I'm not there? Why am I not there? Why not me? And all that stuff. But then once I got past that, I was just like, it's not for me. You know what I mean? Like that wasn't meant for me.
Right.
And I look at the positives, like what we just talked about. I'm healthy. It all worked out. No injuries. Yeah, and that's how I look at it.
I think that is so interesting. Like, is you went to I'm healthy, and you didn't have any major injuries, which is like a major sell. But I also think that it's interesting that you don't say like I had an amazing career.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like you did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like Rancho killed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you played Division I football like on a scholarship. Like you don't have student loans. Like you know what I mean? Like you played with a guy who ended up being an all pro.
Mm-hmm.
Like you know what I mean? Like and you were in that company. Like you were able to play at that level of football.
Yeah.
Then you go, even before you graduate, and you're playing for money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then, you play semi-pro after that. Like, I think it's interesting sometimes, like, the toughness that we can put on ourselves to say, like, even with me, like, in my acting career, like, I might be like, oh, I didn't, I haven't won an Oscar yet or haven't, done this thing yet or this thing yet. But then if I look at it, I'm like, yo, like, I made a movie, and I made a movie that people liked. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've been in acting class for years, and I've put up these scenes, and, and I've worked really hard at something for so long, and I've become, like, I developed this skill, like, over these years. But if I were to stop acting and I were to, just kind of surrender and go into some other field, like, I don't know if I would be able to reflect on, like, man, there are a million people that wish they had the opportunity to do some of the things that we did. And all I can say is that I stopped doing it, and I had fun.
And that is why we're friends, because as you were saying that, from the start, I was thinking. I think I didn't say I had a good career because I used to think in my head, and probably do now, I didn't make it to where I wanted.
Right.
Do you know?
No,
what I mean?
totally.
So I'm just like, what career? You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have one, but just like what you were saying, I did so many things that other guys probably dream of doing, would
100%.
kill for.
100%.
To go to school for free, to graduate, to walk out of the game healthy. Like, and it's funny how you have to take a step back and look at it.
Totally.
When in your head you're like, I'm much better than that. I should have been there. When it's just like, wait a minute, let me back up and like, yo, like I went to college for free. I have no loans. Like, I'm good.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And it's like with no disrespect to like any other, like no disrespect to anybody playing football or like going to school, taking whatever opportunity.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like you also went to like a D1.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
that's
like you were like a JUCO like player of the year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
every football player's dream, like D1, like I did.
It's like it's just such an interesting like human position is that like you set your goal and then everything short of the goal is failure.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like everything short of the goal is failure.
How crazy?
But there is like so much stuff in between, or like so much stuff that and maybe because you not being far from 30 to when you officially surrendered, that like you haven't had time to like look back yet.
Yeah.
And just kind of, and I feel like I've been there the whole time and I just been watching.
Yeah.
So as I collect these things, I'm like, what about this? What about this? You know what I mean? Because I'm like, I had a great time watching it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think it's interesting, and I think that you have a great story to tell in terms of like really maximizing your opportunities and just going as far as you could go.
Yeah, for sure.
Going as far as you can go, and I think that there are certain places you can't make it to just from bad luck. You know, your purpose being in other things.
Yep.
Sometimes you're just not as good as Terrell Suggs.
Yeah.
There's no knock to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that shit happens. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that it's all okay.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it's just get into that place that allows you to dream again. If that makes sense, you know what I mean? Because sometimes I think this stuff feels like a bad breakup, and I can speak on it a little bit just because like I'm a basketball lover, and I didn't make it playing basketball, you know, and I really didn't have, and I didn't put myself in a position to really have an opportunity. Yeah. Even though like I'm still an avid basketball player, I can do things on the basketball court that a lot of folks can't do. I know it, and they know it. Yeah. You know what I mean? But it's like when people ask me what college did I go to, I didn't. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, man, damn, like, did I waste an opportunity? Did I squander, you know what I mean? Like, did I squander some gifts? But then as I look at it, I'm like, man, like, I made more money playing basketball, sure it might be through commercials, than a lot of people I know that got opportunities that I didn't. Yeah. So it's like when you look at it like that, it's, you know what I mean? Like it makes it bearable and it makes it manageable. And for me, I was able to look at like basketball and say, okay, I didn't do what I was supposed to do to make it in basketball. For me personally, this is my story. But in this next thing that I jump into, I can't have that story. I can't repeat basketball. Yeah, for sure. You know what I mean? And it's like with us being so young, it's like this is my second lease on life. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's this thing, you know, this new thing that I've picked. And I think it's like so interesting as just kind of like people, humans, like optimistic people, us being too, is that like you can really do anything. Yeah. And I didn't necessarily believe that as a kid, which is why I think I didn't make it in basketball, which is why I stopped trying so early. Then you take this crazy growth spurt and you're like, oh, shit. You know what I mean? Where you're like, what could have been? So it's like, it's just interesting. It's like we take those things, and I needed that. Because if this would have been my first, like, devastation, then I would have been, like, probably at least, 10, 15 years behind. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I knew basketball wasn't going to work at 18. You know what I mean? 16 to 18. I was kind of like, I'm a little late in the game where these guys were excelling. And I've gone back and I, like, look at all these things. Tell me, do you ever do this? I look back at all these people that I saw were like I held on like a pedestal, and I look back at them now, or I see them now, and I'm like, man, they were really normal.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That was a touchable human. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like there are certain people that you're like, LeBron is not touchable. Yeah. Until you touch him. You know what I mean? And you're like, oh shit, he just worked really hard, huh? Yeah. You know what I mean? And I look at these people that were like stars when I was in high school, and I can touch them, and I'm like, oh yeah, that was on me. Yeah. Oh shit. Okay. Yeah. I see the vibes. Yep. So it's like interesting, and it's like with these new endeavors in terms of filmmaking and acting, I'm like, whatever happens can happen, but I just can't go about it the same way that I went about basketball. Exactly. Yeah. You know what I mean? I can't be intimidated. I can't be unsure. I have to go in this blind and just slug it out. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, what is your next? Or have you figured out your next life thing yet?
No. What's up? No. I honestly think the trying the football thing so hard may have. I think it took me out a little bit.
Yeah, it's a heartbreak.
Like to the relationship, to the point where it's like, all right, like you tried this for so long, like now chill, like relax, but at the same time keep working. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you gotta say a lot.
Yeah. But take some time.
I think I understand. You know what I mean? And I still see basketball on the side. But I think that I was able to come to a place where I had to like compartmentalize it a little bit, because like it was times where I was still playing basketball 4 or 5 hours a day. Yeah. And I'm like, but I hadn't opened a script. I hadn't read anything about the business. You know what I mean? Yeah. Nothing. And I'm just like, okay. And I had to have this talk to myself like, do you want to be a basketball player or do you want to be an actor? Because we've already established you on the down tick. Yeah. Even if you were to be thrown on the Lakers tomorrow, you know what I mean, or the Clippers tomorrow, like you know, the clock by strike 12, Cinderella. So it's like it's just super interesting. But I think is like the best way to get over a heartbreak is to find somebody new.
Yeah, for sure.
So for me, I think the way that I'm set up is that I wasn't gonna be able to be down long. So I think acting came at the perfect time where I was able to. Acting came, and then I had success in acting, and or I had no success in acting. Then I had a little bit of success in acting. Now I'm at a small amount of success in acting, and it's like it's been just enough to hold me over while I'm working. So it's like it was able to kind of fill that void in my life, because it was when I was able to go back into it, I was able to be blessed with things that kept me close to it. I work for the Clippers. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, and the job is nuts. You couldn't write something down to find this job. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't walk through the mall. Like I couldn't tell somebody like, oh, I want to do what I do for the Clippers. You couldn't. Yeah. You couldn't. And I literally found it. This guy hit me up that I went to high school with. Hit me up on Facebook and said, you should come. I went. I acted a fool. And it worked out. And now I'm 6 years that I've been working in the NBA. Yeah. And I distinctly remember I put a post up on Facebook, and I had this picture, and I put it on Facebook, and I said I used to pray to God to run the wing in the NBA. Mm-hmm. I should have been more specific. You know what I mean? Because I made it to the NBA. The NBA signs my checks.
Yeah. Right.
But I didn't I didn't pray about being a player.
How crazy
you know
is that,
what I mean?
right?
So it's nuts. But it's like God still saw fit to take care of my heart a little bit. You know what I mean? Because I don't know if I could have been all the way out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like even one of my biggest fears, not one of my biggest fears, but something I think about now is like if I weren't able to play basketball, when I look at people like that have serious injuries, and I'm just like, man, like I had a buddy in college who we were just hooping one day and he tore his Achilles, and I'm just like, man, like, this is nuts. Because I'm like, man, 9 months away from basketball would be not the business. Yeah. You know? But for me, because I feel like it's part of my identity. Yeah. Right? But my identity is also in acting. It's in there's one part of the world that knows me in acting. There's one part of the world that knows me in Clippers. There's one part of the world that knows me in the actual basketball gym, playing with people. For you to have gone so far in one thing, as everybody knows you as a football player. Yeah. Is it hard to create a new identity? Has that been difficult? Because because I don't see you as a football player anymore. Yeah. But because we're friends, I'm like, oh, this is just my best friend. Like you don't need with me, you don't need a title.
Yeah. It's not hard. It was at first. But it's not hard. It can get hard when people who you went to school with, like, yo, Big Diesel, what's up? I remember that play you did. I'm just like, dang, right, man, like that. But I don't think it's hard to. I think I've stepped out of that shadow, right? And I think it's working out. I think I am. I personally believe I'm no longer Devin the football player.
That's dope.
Yeah. But I and to go back to what you were saying, I don't think, and that's why I don't think I could coach, because I expect such high expectations from, let's say high school kids. Right. I expect them to be where I was. Right. When I was their age, and that's not gonna happen. Not for all of them. Right. And I think that's why I couldn't, coach, because I'm gonna expect this at 10, but they're gonna be at 6, and I'm gonna be like, it's not good enough.
And I'm gonna put this on the record. I think you are completely wrong.
Yeah.
I think you are completely wrong. I think that your experience would validate you in a way that you wouldn't understand to kids, and I think that you would help them to get to where you were, because in my opinion you weren't a natural football player, but you made yourself into that. Yeah. Me just knowing your origin story, like you made yourself into that. So I think that you would be able to help them see it. I don't think that you would be like a Michael Jordan where you're like, if y'all can't dunk from the free throw line, y'all can't play on my team. You know what I mean? I don't think that at all. But I think it comes with time. Like, you know what I mean? And again, if you can't see it, then you can't do it. Yeah. And I think at some point you'll see it and you'll be like, man, I should have got into that. because the legacy takes time. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's like, the sooner you start to build it, you know what I mean, the further it can go. Yeah. So I don't know, I just think it's something to ponder. I'm putting this on the record. If it happens, just know I said it here first.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is your greatest non-football moment of your life?
Greatest non-football. Man, probably graduating from college.
Right.
Yeah. Probably graduating from Utah State for sure.
Was that crazy? Like
that was crazy. That was crazy. But here's what's funny about that whole day, right?
Okay.
So it's a big class. There was like a 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. There was a 1 p.m. and I think like a 3 p.m. Right?
Mm-hmm.
My parents drove down from California to come watch me walk across the stage or whatever.
Right.
I wake up. I'm from living with my roommates. I wake up. I'm the only one there. I'm like, cool, let me clean up, get dressed so I can go. My parents come and pick me up, so we drove to the school and I told them where to park or whatever. I see my roommates walking out of the gymnasium. Like, yo, we still doing that? They said I missed it.
What?
I missed walking to get my diploma. But of course I still got it, whatever. But yeah. I missed walking across the stage. And they said he called my name and they were looking around. They were looking for me. Like my roommates were like, where is this dude? He was home. But none of them...
They left without you?
Yeah. They left without me.
Well, you weren't up. Completely your fault. And that's pretty funny. That's very ridiculous.
No, that's very... But,
whoa!
But I honestly felt bad because my parents, they drove out there.
Right. But
they were like, yo, it's fine. Like, we know that you graduate. Like, it's fine. Yeah. It's cool. And so I was just like, all right, bet.
Yeah, that's really funny. Wow, that's terrible, and that's really funny. But that is a feat. That is a feat. Okay, so a question that I ask is, if you were to title this chapter of your life that you're in, what would it be called?
Man.
Let me give you an example.
Please.
All right, so I titled this chapter of my life Growth.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've been in this insane growing period that has been uncomfortable, that has been awkward, lonely a little bit, but has been super cool because I'm moving into this like next stage of my life, and I'm moving into like exploring the things that really make me happy, and I'm just like growing up. Like I'm not like my childish, not necessarily my childish self, but like just the things that I was doing that I wasn't taking full accountability for. I got time today.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And it's just interesting, like the dividends that it's paying. Like, you know, I'm reading more. I'm doing all this stuff to really grow myself to be. Because for me, I gotta see how far I can take this.
Yeah,
I can't. And I feel like in previous situations, I haven't been able to come up short, but I've allowed myself to. But I gotta see how far I can take this.
Yeah. How
sick I can really get with it. You know, J. Cole has this line, he says, can I be the man I thought I was? I gotta know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I really gotta know. So I've been working to grow like crazy because I'm like, I'm not as big as I could be. You know, and I don't mean big as like stardom or fame or anything like that, but I mean big in the sense of I'm not taking up as much space as I should be because I'm playing Small. I'm living under what I could be. So I done found new mentors. I'm reading books. I'm watching videos. I'm going off in terms of growth.
If I had to comment, if I had to title the chapter, mine would probably be Keep Going. chapter 31.
There it is.
Because again, I feel like I'm still kind of transitioning.
Right.
And I'm not fully done yet. So I would just continue on this path that I'm going right now, but not too much longer. But yeah, I would definitely just continue.
Okay.
The way that I'm going.
All right, so here we go. Maybe you can answer this question. Maybe you can't. If you had to say what's next for you, what would you say it is? This is the speak life portion of the show.
Dang, if I had to say what's next,
what's going to be important? What's going to be important for you in this next chapter?
Man. To create. Just to create more.
Right.
As you know, I'm good at editing and all that stuff. I like to do it. So I would definitely want to do that more.
Right.
If I had to, yeah.
That's what's up. Okay. Is there anything person wise you want to do? Do you want to be a better communicator? Do you want to make more money? Do you want to buy a house in this next chapter?
Oh,
do you want
yeah,
to buy a
for
new
sure.
car? Do you want
For
to?
sure. I would definitely love to
get
buy a
married?
house and be a good communicator. I would love to get married, have kids.
Devin's girlfriend is in the room, so I'm being messy. I'm being messy as hell right now, and that's why I did that, folks. If you're wondering where the hell that came from, that's what's up. That's what's up. Is there a message for the people? Is there anything you would like to end this with? What's the advice?
The advice
What have you picked up along the way? What would be a
man, don't lose sight of yourself. In the chasing of your dream, the chasing of your goal, you tend to forget who you are. You tend to picture yourself as this person, as big as this actor, football star, basketball star, so on and so forth, when you just need to continue to be yourself and living your life, even if that isn't you know, that star athlete that I wanted to be. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, so if I had to say anything, just be true to yourself.
I like it. Boom.
Keep it going.
Keep it going. All right. Well, that is a wrap with Devin Johnson. On Instagram at Devin Johnson 44 and Brandon Thomas and The Journey.
Boom. We live. Check.
Back.
And before we end this, me and Brandon for 4 hours or 5 hours at his school, we're sending emails to football teams, and I just want to say thank you, bro. I appreciate that. I know you remember that.
Absolutely.
We were in there for hours going down the list. Hundreds.
Yeah.
Right.
We went crazy.
Hundreds.
We went crazy.
But anyways, I just wanted to say that before we peace out.
That's dope.
I love you, bro. Appreciate it.
And let me tell you something. I would have done it 1,000 times. Those were some of the funnest times of our life together.
Not only that, driving to San Francisco,
goodness.
Oakland, and I would not have been able to do that without him, because we stayed with his friends, who he knew up there. So thank you to y'all. Y'all know who y'all are.
Hey y'all.
We drove up to the Bay Area like three times
At least.
Yeah.
We went to Arizona.
We went to Arizona. We went to Arizona.
Yeah,
twice, I think.
Yeah, we low key. Yeah, we emailed every football team in the NFL, every football team in the CFL.
Yes.
Every personnel person,
AFL, yes.
everybody.
Agency, like I feel like
damn.
Yeah.
Every agent, every open tryout, every former AFL team
went on the website and got everybody's email, phone number, and emailed and called and
totally.
Yeah, that was great.
And again, you're my brother.
Love
I would
you,
do
man.
it for you. Again, 1,000 times. That was nothing.
And I appreciate you.
My dog. Wow, yeah, that happened.